marriage conversation seems to always be a hot topic. And I have two guests here who have very special stories and how they've come together in a union. Joining me here, Lara Kudayisi Don Momoh and Esosa Don Momoh. Thanks for being here today. Welcome back to you, actually.
Thank
you were here
in 2020.
The pandemic year, right?
Yes.
Before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, in January.
We thought it was going to be a sweet year.
We didn't know.
Welcome back, and
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When did this happen?
April.
That's April 9.
Last year.
23.
Yeah.
When did the journey start? Because the stories are always different. Let me ask you first.
Okay, I think the journey started in the studio. I was in the studio just minding my business and doing my thing, and suddenly my friend came and said he has somebody he wants to introduce to me. And then that was how the journey started.
When was this?
This was in 2019.
December.
Okay. Yeah, December 2019.
Is he correct?
Yes, yes. So, no, not just introduced to him, because the way he said it, as if they brought one girl. So come and say, fine girl. No. So I wanted to have a show in Lagos. I just came back from Abuja that year, and I had a radio show in Abuja. So I wanted to have a radio show in Lagos. So the friend took me that he has a friend, and that friend was even scoping me, you understand? He was toasting me. So, but let me take you to my friend who has a radio program. Maybe you could be his co-host, you know. So, and, you know, there was just chemistry from that, you know, moment. So in that January, the program I came to talk about, he was part of it. Okay. You know, that day. So we didn't have anything, we're just friends. You know, but hearing is, you know, I was interviewing him, and I was like, oh, God, this guy, you know.
Did they tell you right?
You know, so that was just how we started.
I mean, like you said, you were here in 2020. You told us a very interesting story, and you've done a couple of interviews about it. For those who don't know, you had talked about, you know, being in relationships in the past. Were you married before?
Yes.
You were married before?
I was married, yes.
And you talked very openly about your abortions at the time. How many were there again at the time?
It was 15.
15 abortions.
I recall how you almost fainted.
I mean, I still think about it. I'm like, you had 15 abortions for this man. And
not for one man.
Not for one man, at different times. And I want to ask you that now, because hearing that, and, you know, most people hear stories like that, and they're like, there's a perception instantly of the girl or of the lady of what her past is or what she is like as a person. When you heard that, what was the first reaction, and how did you get past that to the point where you were married?
Surprise, surprise for me. It was just one of those things. I wasn't like surprised because somehow, I think I've read about her before. So eventually when we met, so it was just cool. So this is the lady that. That was it. So it wasn't, there was nothing for me that was like, 15 abortion, 14 heartbreaks, and there was no sparks like that.
Sometimes more than even the person, we live in a country where family is very key, right? You're marrying your family, whether you like it or not. There's also your guys, who we say, wow, you know, did that happen, and how did you handle it?
Yes, even till date. The guys, they're like, Teddy, how are you managing this thing? But that's them. That's their own perception of what they think about her. But what about you as a person? For me, I'm looking at what is the vibe that we're actually getting, and that's for me and my family. Very, very exposed kind of family. Whatever it is that I choose,
you respect.
Yeah, the respect. So
I guess that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you before him or with him getting to date and talk about that and receive the reaction? And what was his reaction? Because he can see he reacted a certain way. What did you see in him? You know,
that's why, like you said, the woman always tells, you know, the detailed story. You know, so the correct story was that I had a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, and a divorce. You know, so, and that was on my bio on Instagram, because I'm a therapist. I'm a certified cognitive behavioral therapist. So I use my story, my skills to help people heal. So when I talk about that, some people resonate with me, people that are in these shoes. But of course, naturally, you don't know, unpretable names and everywhere you get. So, but when it comes to dating, you find some men who couldn't deal with that. You get what I mean? So, but what changed for me? There was a time when before I got married the first time, I had a very low self-esteem. You know, so it was very particular to me that, oh, the guy liked me, the guy's family, I would do anything to make sure the guy chose me. But when I left that marriage, I began to realize my own value as a person, my identity as a human being. You know, it was beyond the story, it was beyond the past. So at the time, I was fearless and shameless. So putting my story out there meant that there was, what would you call it now? There was I could sieve. So the people that came knew what they were coming for. Do you understand? So people who entered my DM, I had some pastors, notable pastors, you know, they would not be able to support me openly. They'll send me DMs, you're doing good, well done, you know. So I had some of that. And the interesting thing was that, you know, people like self-confidence, no matter what you have, no matter your past. Men are attracted to self-confident women. So I think that was what I had, you know, and I still have. You know, for me to even come here openly and talk about it, and I was talking about how I was helping people, I was talking about that. Before I chose him, you know, I had 4 men. Yes, that were really serious, like liked me and stuff.
And he jumped to the key.
Yes, you know. So, but him, you know, just had that, what would I say? You know, his own story too. He used to be married, you know, to, and his wife died. You know, so he had that synchronity. He had trauma too from that. You know, trying to date again. Are you sure she's not going to die? Are you sure the next person? You know, so I think that kind of brought us together. So in that program that I had in January of 2020, How They Healed, when I was hearing his story, my director was so mad at me. You were grilling other people. Why didn't you grill this guy? You didn't allow him to, the other people were crying and all of that. You know, but I just wanted to hear, he kept sharing about his wife, you understand how they met, the kind of love. And at that then, it was about 6-7 years after she had passed. So I was just blown away. How could a Nigerian man be so much in love with his wife this much, that even 6 years after, you know, he's not even talking about dating. He's so in love with her. He was talking about the bond they shared. And I'm like, this guy is a loving guy. If this guy handle you, if he's trying to like you small.
It is over.
It is over, you know, and that was it, you know. So, of course, he saw what I was doing and, you know, he worked in the radio station. So we're partnering, helping me talk to, you know, PR things. The chemistry developed. And I saw that commitment that I said he showed or he talked about. And that was it too, from then till now.
Very, very interesting. I know I started off with, you know, this whole conversation around marriage. And it's a hot topic even outside of social media. Internationally, marriages are lasting shorter. Basically, you know, people are even deciding, you know what, do I even really need this thing? And your situation is very unique. I mean, you're a widower, you're a divorcee. But you found each other and you're making this work so far. How are you doing it? And I want to come to you first. I know you are going to speak not only as the wife, but also as a family life coach and a therapist. But you as a man, you know, because men seem to carry the brunt of these things sometimes, not understanding that apparently we don't understand enough how to make these things work. How did you get past all that? Like you said, you lost your wife, Kefe, I believe. She was a Nigerian artist. May her soul rest in peace. How did you get past that? You know, losing your wife, falling in love again, making it work, with her own circumstances as well, and still, you know, own it.
Yes, own it. I think I believe that it's just God, and I think therapy also helped me because I now find out that okay, there are certain things that, you know, this is past, now this is the future. You cannot, there's definitely something that God wants me to actually accomplish here on earth. And so, that's the way I kind of want to have a relationship. And so when I saw her, and, you know, with other ladies actually, so, but there was just something about purpose. I have to fulfill purpose, and that was just it.
Yeah. What was it? How are you making it work? You know, for what you guys seem to be carrying. And have come into a union together, being able to handle the past, because you guys have not forgotten your past, but you are living and moving forward.
So it's healing, you know, like he said, therapy. And that's one of the things.
Are you his therapist?
Well, not at all. That would be unethical. But I introduced him to therapy. You understand? Because I saw a man that had so much vision, passion, and all of that. But what was holding him back was his trauma, his pain. And I knew that, of course, that's my job. All of us, we all have some form of trauma somewhere or the other. But this one was very obvious. He had lost his wife. So I introduced him, bro, go to this therapist, go to that therapist, and all of that. So that helped.
Yeah.
That helped him heal. And now when we got married, we can talk about Kefi very well. Even before we got married, and that was one of the things that he was like, oh, I like this about you. Other women will be like, I don't want to talk about, the past is the past. Don't mention it. Don't. Does he love me? Does it? No. You understand? You lost somebody. And I remember thinking about it that what if it was you? Would you want the person to forget you forever? So we talk about Kefi, we talk about a death anniversary. We talk about, what to do, what happened in the past, and I used to be married too, and it wasn't totally a bad marriage either. Do you get? So I talk about it, we talk about it. So it's and we have a blended family now. Yesterday he just met my ex-husband for the first time, My ex-husband was picking up our son, they shook, they hugged, and I was like, hey, oh girl, 2024, things are happening. You get? So that is the kind of environment that we have, and it was intentional from the beginning.
I want to ask you about, since you're a therapist as well, you're married, how do you build communication? That word might seem very basic, but it seems like the one thing that makes marriages work, or relationships as a whole.
Yes.
Men have been accused, especially we African Nigerian men, have been accused of not being open enough.
Yes.
We've been groomed a certain way to hold our emotions and not be expressive and all of that. When you meet the average guy who's built that way, how do you get them to communicate better?
Yes, so one of the ways is by not judging them as a woman, first of all. I tell women want to marry husbands. Men want to marry their friends. You understand? When you're a man's friend, you're cool with him, it's easier for him to talk to you. Why are you smiling, Ebuka? It's like, this thing is very true. You understand? A man wants to talk to you. And so, of course, naturally, as an African man, the way you were raised, you don't talk to women. You don't tell, you don't tell them this, you don't tell them that. But there's a way you come as a woman, which is what I have been able to do. First of all, be vulnerable about your own fears too.
It's hard.
You understand? It's hard about your own fears. So you can even tell from this interview who talks more. You get? Because me, I'll go and ask, bro, what's happening? What's going on?
Today.
You are quiet today. What's good? I'm good. You are not good. You understand? And then we begin to, I just make the environment soft for him to be able to tell me. And sometimes you suggest things too.
Yeah.
And the most important part that we women do is, somebody is telling you something, you are flaring up, you are holding it, you are using it against him next week, you are using it against him. He's not going to tell you anything again.
Yeah.
So, and then we have times where we sit down and talk about the week, the month, what had happened, what do we want to improve, how are you behaving towards me, am I liking it, things like that.
All right. Before we go, because you guys have something coming up, I think.
Yes.
So quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called the FLAT Fiesta, and FLAT Fiesta, it's FLAT. That's FLAT. That means finding love after trauma. It's actually something that was born.
Yes.
So for people who are traumatized. Now, the funniest thing is that a lot of people don't even know that they're traumatized. All right. So come and find out what trauma is.
Yeah.
Be you single, be you someone who's married, and be you someone who's divorced, or maybe anything that has to do with trauma. This program is definitely for you.
Where is it happening?
Yes, it's happening on at the Muson Center on the 29th of June. And we have this Saturday. We have 3 panel sessions for singles. So we have celebrities coming to share how they are single and thriving and waiting to get married. We have a panel session for married people, how they have been thriving and healing inside their marriage. And then we have another panel session for divorce, because I'm very particular about that one. You get? Because I realized that people don't create anything for divorcees in Nigeria, or widowers or widows or single parents. So we have people also coming to come and share how they have been divorced, they are healing and thriving and moving towards happiness and love again.
Awesome.
So that's what the program is about.
FLAT Fiesta, June 29th, Muson Center.
Yes, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes, in the morning. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lara. Thank you very much, Teddy.
Thank you for having
It looks
us.
like it might be a place to also jam your husband or what.
Yes,
You never know. So, look nice when you attend. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.